Last time, we lit the fires of progress, harnessing infinite steam power from just 9 buckets of lava. Now, it's time to put the power to work. Today, we are building the ultimate factory, machines that can automate andesite, iron, copper, gold, zinc, and open the door to endless possibilities. This is where automation becomes limitless. With the power plant running full steam, it's time to put that energy to use, and that's where today's build comes in. We are going to bring all these resources under one roof, fully automated, fully powered, and ready to scale into anything we need later. Right now, our resource production is a small patchwork of small machines and mining trips. And while it works, it's nowhere near enough for the scale we are aiming for. So today, we mark a new milestone for this world, building a factory that keeps materials flowing 24/7 without me lifting a pickaxe. There's a lot of machines to cover today, so I will be breaking them down into segments. I'm also explaining everything from top-down view so you can follow the process more easily. The first segment is all about turning cobblestone into andesite. Our cobblestone comes from this generator that produces 1.08 million cobblestone per hour, a design by Rover who I mentioned in my previous video. From there, the cobblestone heads into the instant crushing setup, where it's broken down into gravel. That gravel is then stored in a vault before being sent to this array of mechanical presses and basins. Each basin takes in gravel, flint, and lava and compacts them into andesite. A big shout out to BrokenVoid for the andesite making array design. It uses 2 chutes to feed gravels into the milestone, crushing it into flint, while one of those chutes also distributes any extra gravel directly into the basin. Next, let's move on to turning andesite into tuff. Once the andesite is compact, it's sent into this vault. I like to keep a threshold here since andesite is useful for building, so I do ready to have a reserve before converting it into something else. When it's time for production, the andesite is sent into this array of mechanical presses and basins, where it gets evenly distributed among the basins. Cobblestone from the generator is also brought in and sent to this vault before distributed into the basins. While lava is supplied from the sides, the basins need that heat to craft tuff. For the production array, I use an idea from BrokenVoid, feeding 2 materials in from the sides. This leaves space for the lava input, while the basins are heated from the blaze burners underneath. Tuff is then stored in this vault. Just like andesite, since I use tuff as a foundation block, I would like to keep a threshold here as well, while still allowing any extra to be processed further. That excess tuff is then crushed into flint, iron, gold, copper, and zinc. These are the main resources we are targeting in this project, automating as many ingots as possible. And with copper and zinc already in the system, we can combine them into brass later on, opening the door to even more advanced builds. Since we are also running CreateMod-Guy, which is an add-on for the CreateMod, we can make use of our andesite in a completely different way. By crushing it, we get 2 things: crush the andesite and nuggets of experience, which means this setup can also double as an experience farm. The crushed andesite has 2 main uses. First, we combine it directly with iron nuggets to craft andesite alloy. Or we can melt it down into molten andesite alloy, then mix that with molten iron to get even more molten andesite alloy, which can be then compact back into solid andesite alloy. Either way, it's a great way to turn surplus andesite into something far more valuable. And that's the heart of the ultimate factory. A fully automated system for andesite, tuff, and a whole lineup of ingots and alloys. Once it's running at full capacity, it will keep us stock for just about anything this world can throw at us. But a build this big doesn't come cheap. We're going to need a serious stockpile of materials before we can push it any further. So, before we moved on, it's time for a quick resource run. A smaller andesite alloy farm, a kelp farm, and a bit of underground digging to gather the last of what we needed. Let's get to it. Hey guys, welcome back to the survival world in the Foundry SMP. So we started off in our power station here with me trying to explain what's going on here. So we have these two frog pods over here sending out the lava. It wasn't done really properly. I should have separated this thing, but right now everything is running smoothly already. I have already also gathered the resource for making everything. I just want to go around and show you guys how this works. So this frog pod over here, it will send out the lava, but right now they will also send out anything that can be packaged. And then we also have this packager receiving the empty buckets and then send them into the system to be filled with lava again. So this chain conveyor over here will connect up to the factory that I have worked over there, which is pretty not much, just a lot of machines. So if you ride this chain conveyor to here, you can see. So this chain conveyor over here sends the lava bucket into this barrel, and this barrel will roll on this iron drain and drain the lava into the basins to supply the making of the andesite. And the empty buckets will send into this frog pod and they are sent back into the power station to fill it in with lava. Over here I use BrokenVoid's design to make andesite, and then the andesite will get output from the other side. Then the andesite will get sent into these basins and get made into andesite alloy. Then they will get put onto this belt and get collected into this chest. So this chest over here, I have most of the andesite alloy still remaining in this chest, which is really useful because yet I don't have any other way to make andesite alloy other than this thing. So other than that, we also have the kelp farm, which is this one I have down over here. It uses the saws and a simple mechanical bearing powered by a water wheel to spin around and collecting the kelp. The reason that I use the saw over here instead of harvesters is that, let's say, oh, I only have cobblestone here. So let's say you have the kelp is on this block, and then when it grows up to this block, it can get harvested by the harvester. But in case the kelp grown more higher, the harvester will only break this one, leaving this one to be broken by itself and float up to the surface. So what I do here, instead of using harvesters, I use saws. So the saws can work like a tree farm. So when you chop it down, it can just harvest the entire column instead of just harvesting that one block. So right now I also have this one running for a while, collecting more kelp for other projects. And the kelp has been sent. Oh, I also put some kelp into this bulk processing setup over here manually, and then once it's done processing, it will get sent back into the system, into this vault, and all of them is collecting inside here. Oh wow, I have 1000 kelp, which actually is more than 1000. So yeah, all the stuff is collected here, and that is pretty much it. And since we have collected the materials, let's jump into the time lapse of building the ultimate factory. What a banger, isn't it? That song is called Still Broke by oomiee. I really like electronic music, so I decided to use that music as the time-lapse music. I also find it really cool to have an epic feel with all those uh, effects, as well as the cinematic blanking that you guys saw that appearing from the bottom and the top of the screen. So anyways, let's now talk about the machine. So we have the power powering from, well, we have power sending from our power station, and it goes through this chain conveyor, sending it into this line. So this line will have two branch. One branch is sending out the power to power everything in this area, and it is also powering this rotational speed controller, which is powering the pumps to send lava into the basins as well as the spouts. So let's talk about the machines. I already have an explanation in the beginning of the video. I still want to talk about this part. So we have the cobblestone generator over here generating stone, go into the instant crushing setup to crush into gravel. And this part is where it makes into andesite, and then the andesite gets sent up onto here, making tuff. And the tuff will be collected first, then sent into this part, and it will crush into the nuggets, send it to another vault, because we will be collecting other stuff as well, which is the crusted andesite, and the nuggets will get sent out to here into these compact machines and get sent into these vaults. I decided to color code the vaults. It looks pretty cool and I really like it, and I also have set up the packages so I can see what's inside. So far, as you guys can see, the materials it generated are pretty much equal. There's iron, gold, copper, and zinc, so that pretty much means we don't really need to go into mining to get ourselves the materials other than lapis and coal, and of course diamonds. We don't have a way to farm diamonds yet in machines in the Foundry SMP. So yeah, anyways, I also have set up the threshold switch, which are these things over here. So this one is sending a signal to, say, let's say we have more than enough andesite in this machine, then it will send a signal to these two funnels. Well, the cobblestone generator started running because some part is low on cobblestone. So it will send signal to these two funnels, telling them to stop supplying gravel to mix them into andesite, else this one will be filled up. And over here, well, right now you can see andesite has run out, and yeah, it just now is sending in the gravel and distributing them until that vault is filled with andesite again. Over here, I also have another threshold switch, which is sending a signal to this part. This part is an AND gate, and it will then tell this cobblestone generator to stop working if the gravel is full, but only if this vault over here is also full, then the cobblestone generator will completely stop working. So let's say if this cobblestone drain so let's say if this vault isn't full and it wants more of the cobblestone, it will turn off, and then this cobblestone generator will start generating cobblestone again, and then sending the cobblestone into this vault, and the rest will get sent into the crushing setup into this vault. But I think it would be a better way for me to use funnels instead of the AND gate, because since we have two inputs, since we have two outputs here, it would be better to have two-way to like input here, and if we really need more gravel, then crush more gravel, because this part is what it really does is only for crushing gravel. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And the pipes here are all connected, but I still found one issue that I had, which because they need to supply lava to here, and everything start to turn pretty slow. As you can see, the lava is filling up pretty slowly here. So I was thinking if there's a way to increase the pump. So the first thing that comes to my mind is adding more pumps. I think I've seen someone does this, and this way can significantly increase the speed of it, but I'm not so sure. So I'm just gonna put that in and see how things goes. So, and then this part is also short on lava because it needs to supply the blaze burners, but the basins over here are also pretty slow on lava, and making each tuff requires 250 millibuckets of lava. So I'm not so sure if there's a faster way that you can supply lava into the tanks or not. If you guys found a way, please let me know, because right now I'm just using this way and then see, and then I just hope it works faster. I don't know, it feels like a little bit faster, but I'm not so sure. But it's still pretty good. It's still generating it's still generating quite a lot of tuff. And I also have the stock link linked. So there's 4 stock links over here to check the ingots, and then there's 1 stock link over here to check the tuff. And we also have 1 over here to check the andesite. So if we click onto this blaze burner, which is our stock keeper, we can then see how many andesite we have inside. So far we have 18,000 andesite, 4,000 tuff, and about 700 of each ingots, which is a lot, which is really a lot. Well, that explains today's episode, the ultimate factory, which we are basically making all of those things just from cobblestone. And there are also more things that I want to expand from this farm, which includes like andesite alloy making machine. So there will be the iron that will get sent back or melted down into the molten iron, and then mixed with the molten andesite and turn them into andesite alloy. That is also one of my ideas that I have in mind that I can put over here. But for now, I think I need to work with this, because I think there's plenty of flint inside that I need to clear out. So yeah, I still need a way to clear out all the flint, and I also need to go ahead and fill in, well, I also need to go ahead and case this up to, well, kind of beautify the place a bit. And speaking of beautify, this place is pretty much, well, pretty bare bones. I still yet to build a building around it. I still yet to build a shell around it. Probably will be something for the next episode. But for now, I just really want to case this thing up and see the glorious look of this factory. But this has been a pretty crazy episode. It's also taking me a really long time to build, to work on, because there are so many designs that I need to work around with. I also really want to make do a big huge shout out to BrokenVoid for helping the technical part of the machines. Like he have this design, he made the design for me for the andesite machine, and this one also inspires me to make the tuff generator, which is all the way over there. And speaking of all of this, other than all of this, this crusher is also his design. So I made my design, which I have made a video about it, which is the instant crushing setup. And then he also came out with a design which doesn't include putting in a cut contraption, but instead of using the bearing instead. So that is much better, because if we ever need to disassemble it, we can just right click at the mechanical bearing, and then if we ever need to assemble it again for it to run, we can just turn the wolf on top, and then it can just run again. So that is pretty handy. We do need to like break things or remove a card assembler from places, as well as like this part over here, because this part is quite tricky, because sometimes this will get laggy all the time, and then I just need to replace it. I just need to take it off, put it somewhere, and then if I ever need it again, then I put it back, something like that. So yeah, but anyways guys, that would be the end of the video. And if you like this video, please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and turn on the bell notification, as that really helps me to grow my YouTube channel. And as always, I will see you guys next time in the next video.